Hi, everybody. This is Eating for Meaning. I'm your host, Millie Lytle, or Dr. Millie. I'm a naturopath and I'm a certified nutritionist. And we are exploring all the sun signs and how to eat for each different sun sign, whether it's your sun sign. Also, do check out your ascending or your rising sign as well as your moon sign, because that can also affect your health and how your body functions in relationship to food. As we're ascending, as we're becoming more spiritually aware, it's also very important to be in touch with our body, and our body are our temple. Your body is your temple, and so it's very important to not be perfect, but to be aware of what you're putting in your mouth. If we look at the food that's on the shelves of the grocery store, then if we think of it from a sinister perspective, which I can't help but do so because I do see the food that we're forced to eat if we select mainstream food as a form of population control. Because the food that we're eating is making us sick. It's giving us diabetes, it's giving us allergies, it's giving us high blood pressure, it's giving us food cravings. It's not by accident that so many Americans, so many North Americans, and even Western Europeans, Northern and Western Europeans, and now extending into Africa and the countries of the world that accept aid food, it's no wonder that we're suffering more and more from the Western chronic illness, which are related to obesity, related to cholesterol and cholesterol, blood sugar more than cholesterol, to be honest, stress, uh, migraine headaches, pressure, tension, depression, anxiety, cravings. And so the food that we're eating, if you think about it, is the biochemistry that you're putting into your body every day, 3 to 6 times a day. Or if you're not eating good food, then it's the biochemistry that you're not putting into your body those opportunities during the day. And this is affecting your health every single moment you're alive. And it's creating at the root level, at the root cause, how resistant you are to cold and flus, how much energy you have, how well you feel during the day, what your mood fluctuations are like, what your cravings are like, whether or not you have to self medicate with coffee, alcohol, take prescription medications or over the counter medications, whether you're in the medical system, how much you have to be included as part of the medical system, which is the sick care system that so much of us are facing. If you pay attention to your food, then you remove yourself from that common denominator for which so many people are being systemically controlled by the food that we're given, the food that's available to us by convenience, by first glance, because all the food in the grocery store shelves contains, if not hidden, but if you read the ingredients, you know it's there, but soy, corn, genetically modified foods, sugar beet or genetically modified canola oil, and genetically modified foods are altering genes, okay? Because the genes of the food itself is altered, and it can also alter our own genes, not to mention our cells on a more short term level. It's a very concentrated amount of pesticides that you're getting. And what do pesticides do? They kill insects. And so if these are strong enough to kill insects, then imagine what they're doing to the cells of your body, not to mention pesticide levels are not controlled. They spray whenever they want. They put fungicides on seeds as much as they like. There's really very little FDA regulation, and there's very little understanding of how much chemical exposure we're getting. Chemicals are war, okay? It is warfare. It is a form of population control. I believe this very strongly. In order to become enlightened, in order to become in touch and in control of our own health and in our own evolution, then we really do need to take ourselves off the grid in a lot of the perspective, take ourselves off of prepackaged foods. And that's all the convenience foods that you might be used to eating. Now, am I saying that you can't eat any foods that you like ever again? I'm not saying that. However, I am saying that we need to develop a new palate, and this happens gradually. It is possible. We just have to expose ourselves to better quality food so that once you do that, once you start exposing yourself to better quality of food, increase your fruits and vegetable consumption, then you're no longer as vulnerable to illnesses, as well as to cravings, as well as to the control that this cheap, manufactured, overly processed, undernutritious, caloric food gives us. Okay. I am available for consultations. I am going to offer a very special price. My consultation fees as a naturopathic doctor are pretty high. They're $550 for the initial. They're $400 for follow-ups. I do have some packages, but I am going to offer a very special rate to my YouTube followers. This is a new channel for me. I really want to get myself in front of you, and I really want to help you as much as possible. I'm absolutely committed to helping people ascend from a nutritional perspective, as well as, mind, body, soul. This is all related to our health. And so I do mind, body, soul readings. Those are oracle card readings. I do them weekly here on YouTube. I just started, but this is something I'm going to continue. I can do a mind, body, oracle reading for you alone for the price of $50. And that's about a 20-minute reading. And we pick cards associated with what your question is. And that's in whatever way you're thinking about your relationships or your life or your health or your job, because it's all holistic. Okay. And I'm trying to help people improve their health in all of these ways, as we're all trying to, on a mission to ascend and trying to be the best possible versions of ourselves. The world, there's been no better time to do this work for yourself, because the world needs good energy, positive energy. It needs us uniting. It needs us sending positive energy to the powers that be, to the negative forces, to the dark side. We all need to unite. We're here for a reason. We're here for a mission. And this is part of my mission, is to help you accomplish that. So mind, body, soul oracle readings are $50, and you can go onto my website at milliesays.com and book that. And this is only for my YouTube subscribers, okay? And you can also go on to my eatingformeaning.com page and book these. I am also doing horoscope readings, so medical astrology readings for you as an individual. We'll look at your sun, your moon, and your ascending, and we'll go over your main concerns, and I'll help you work out which foods you should be eating. This, again, is a very special deal. This is going to be $50, and you can book that right away. And I'm not sure how long these are going to last, but definitely I'm going to offer these for a little while as I build my channel. If you know anybody who's interested in taking advantage of one of these readings, please do have them come onto my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. I really appreciate it, guys. I really want to reach as many people as possible. I think that this movement is really growing. We need to be physically fit. It's not enough just to be spiritually fit. And I do not mean, you need to go to the gym. I'm not saying don't do that, but that's not really where we get fitness and health. We get fitness and health from tuning into ourselves and learning how all the inner workings of our mind and our soul and our spirit, as well as our physical, are affecting our physical being. We need to be strong physically. We need to be, warriors and activists. We need to have energy. We need to have a clear mind. We need to have a clear channeled heart. We need to know what our mission is and to know our purpose. And in order to be doing this, we need to be as healthy as possible. So I'm here to help you accomplish your vision and help you accomplish your nutrition goals and your health goals, so that you can be the best activist, the best mission agent that you possibly can be. So if you think you're a twin flame, or if you're a twin flame, or if you're a blue ray, or if you're a star seed, or if you're a mission pioneer, or if you're a soul star, wherever you feel like you are, if which galactic family you've come from, intergalactic family you've come from, then I'm definitely here to help you. And if you are confused as to what is happening to you, if you're confused or scared by what you're seeing or what you're feeling, or how people are responding to you in terms of your spiritual gifts, please do not be dismayed. This is part of your awakening. This is part of your gift. This is part of your soul's purpose. We are all going through this. You are not alone. And so if you feel alone, then please do reach out to me and connect, because it's really important that we unite and that we are aware of what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the light in this video. I don't know why it's changing so much, but I'm just going to take that as a lot of energy is coming through right now. And so stay tuned for thanks so much again for liking, subscribing. If you'd like to take advantage of one of my special offer readings, either for a mind, body, soul oracle reading, or which I'm also doing for Integral Fitness, their conscious dinner, their conscious family dinners coming up in December in New York. So I am offering them. I'm going to be offering them for free for that dinner, for the price of admission of the dinner. I'm not sure if they're still taking bookings or not for that, but so it is something that I'm going to be doing publicly as well. I do this within my practice, but I'm just offering these by themselves for $50. Or if you'd like the astrology portion, if you'd like to know what to eat for your sun sign, rising, and moon sign, then before we book that appointment or before we have that appointment, I'll have to know that information about you. And I'll have to know what your chief complaint is in terms of your nutrition. And then I'll give you also a 20-minute session, nutrition session. Okay, so again, thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. It really means a lot to me. And I'm going to try to respond to everybody's, but stay tuned for your sun sign as it relates to your nutrition. This is Medical Astrology on Eating for Meaning. Thank you. Hi, Sagittarius, and welcome to Eating for Meaning. I will be discussing your medical astrology as it pertains to your nutrition and what you should eat today. So, good health is represented by medical astrology, depending on when you were born, what the planets were doing at the time of your birth, and where you were born. Astrology is the language of interconnections. So there's 12 planets in the zodiac sign, and they're always circulating around each other. And the interconnections are showing how all things and health and signs and planets and people and herbs and all the plants are all connected together. We're all connected together. And more we're knowing this and we're learning this. And so astrology creates types of connections with the help of scientific and logical analysis from ancient understandings and meditations of different planets. And as signs, herbs, and planets consist of natural elements, the human body is also comprised of these things. So in Eastern medicine, the human body is made up of 4 elements. It's earth, fire, water, and air. And so in astrology. So these elements offer various types of energetic qualities. For instance, earth is cool and dry, just like the ground without rain. Fire is hot, of course. Water is moist and cold in terms of energetic quality. And air is moist and hot, like our breath. And these can interact with each other and create different systems and different patterns. But good health is represented by all of these elements mentioned above and their ratio of which one of one to the other. So the food we eat, the lifestyle we lead, our level of consciousness and mentality, and the planetary cycles are all affecting the balance of our human health all the time. So the horoscope of a person generally highlights their health patterns, and this can be seen at birth from a medical astrologer. Now, I'm not a medical astrologer, but just like medical astrology looks at the location of the sun and the moon on different regions of the body, as a naturopathic doctor, we do this too. We see which susceptibilities are arising, where traumas have occurred, whether or not food can be digested, what the impact on certain traumas on the body, how the body's expressing symptoms, and then we can use it's not an educated guess, but we can use prevention strategies to understand how the organ systems relate to each other and how certain food will affect these organ systems moving forward so that we can prevent illness and also treat chronic symptoms. So today we're going to be talking about Sagittarius, that's you, Sagittarius, and we're going to be talking about for people who have their sun in Sagittarius as well as their moon in Sagittarius, with which health conditions they're more likely to be affected by, which areas of the body are ruled by Sagittarius and therefore have weaknesses or strengths, and then what food we can eat in order to keep those conditions at bay. So the sun in Sagittarius causes concerns related to the arteries, the blood, which can be inflammation in the blood that can directly affect the arteries, hips, liver, and thighs. Okay, so that's quite a few systems. However, Sagittarius are generally regarded as the healthiest sign of all the zodiac signs. The reason being, in terms of medical astrology, is because Jupiter, the ruling planet, really favors people belonging to this sign, and Jupiter blesses health on its sun signs. So, however, you do have to be careful about weight problems. You do have to be careful about hardening of the arteries, also known as arteriosclerosis or atherosclerosis, diseases affecting the coronary arteries, which are the arteries going from the heart up to the brain, and also high blood pressure. So if you have inflammation in your blood, if you have C-reactive protein, if you have high homocysteine, if you have histamine, if you have cytokines, if you have different immune complements, now those could be from allergies or chemicals exposures, or they could just be from eating the wrong food. They could also be from being overweight. They could be from eating too much deep fried food, too much sugar, not enough fresh fruits and vegetables, not enough nutrients or antioxidants to actually quench that inflammation. And if you have inflammation, generally what happens is that the lining of the arteries get damaged. There ends up being nicks in the artery wall. When there's nicks in the artery wall, what happens when you get a cut on your skin? Same thing. It gets red, it gets inflamed, it oozes a little bit, it forms a scab. The same thing is happening on the artery wall. Now, in the arteries, the arteries are a tunnel so that blood can go from the heart to the rest of the body and oxygenate the rest of the body. And in that blood, there's a whole lot of minerals, there's a whole lot of electrolytes that are buffering electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, etc. There's cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is also bound to different fat-soluble vitamins, and cholesterol can either be transporting nutrients to the different organs, or it can be carrying waste products back. And there's a chance, an opportunity, if there's inflammation and if there's a nick on the artery, that these cholesterol agents, molecules, can be damaged. So if fat is damaged, it's like if you put chicken into a frying pan, it sizzles, it cracks, it burns, right? And so if fat is damaged, if fat is burned, it smokes, it sizzles, it cracks, and it hardens. And it hardens against the artery wall, and it creates something that we know as plaque. And then plaque can also attract, because it's very sticky. You can think about plaque on your teeth, how it is. It's very sticky, and sometimes it hardens, and you have to go to the dental hygienist in order to get it cleaned off. This is very bad for the arteries. But it's not just a function of having high cholesterol. There can be a small amount of cholesterol and still a lot of inflammation, and there could still be hardening. And as the hardening happens, then it accumulates calcium and maybe other debris there. It hardens and it narrows over time the lining of the artery. It narrows the tube so that less blood can fit through. This raises blood pressure. Okay, this puts stress on the heart. It also reduces the amount of oxygen that the rest of the extremities, the fingers, the brain, the toes, the genitals, are all going to receive. All the cells are not going to receive as much oxygen or as much nutrition or as much blood. If the area is completely occluded or blocked off, then it can create pain, because if there's no oxygen there, then the tissue is starting to die, and that creates something called pain. That's angina or different ischemic pains, which we call if there's any hardening of the arteries or blockages. Okay, so this is what you as Sagittarius are susceptible to. So you need to eat a lot of good fat-soluble nutrients. Foods with vitamin E, foods with vitamin D, foods with vitamin A. So organic corn, fatty fishes, so the wild salmon, mackerel, albacore tuna, anchovies, sardines, grouper, Arctic char, these kinds of black cod, these ocean fish that live in cold waters produce omega-3 fatty acids. And I also want to eat nuts and seeds, all the things that are good for the brain and the heart, like walnuts, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, borage seeds, Those are the best ones. But then there's sunflower seeds can be good, or cashews not so good, or almonds maybe okay, peanuts not so good. So some vegetables, some nuts and seeds have really good sources of omega-3s and some omega-6s, which are anti-inflammatory. Others have inflammatory omega-6s. And you want to avoid those because those just create more uh, inflammatory uh, agents, so that we're getting more high blood pressure and more plaquing in the arteries. So not all vegetable oil is created equally. You do not just want regular vegetable oil. You do not want corn oil. You do not want soy oil. You want the sources that I mentioned before: avocado oil, coconut oil. Even though coconut oil has quite a bit of saturated fat, it can be digested, and it's short chain and medium chain fatty acids can be used as long as there's good probiotics in the digestive tract. So that's also important, is to make sure that you're eating living foods like raw apple cider vinegar and onions and garlics, and these help to create good bacteria in the small intestine and help to cut through cholesterol and break it up into smaller components so that our body can use it. And our liver is not producing so much of the bad cholesterol. So we really need to eat raw garlics and onions, especially if you're a Sagittarius. And they're also good for any yeast or sluggish circulation problems. They help to thin the blood a little bit. So do the fish oils. So do the berries. So this is blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, organic strawberries only, sour cherries, pomegranates. Very good for Sagittarius. You must be eating these in order to keep your heart healthy. Beets, the red beets, purple cabbage. And now there's other signs that also need these same foods, but maybe for different reasons. Some superfoods especially have carryover properties, but you really do need these proanthocyanidins from dark berries and vegetables in order to reduce inflammation in your arteries, so that you're having good circulating blood, so that it's flowing everywhere and oxygenating all of your tissues, and there's not plaque being built up. Now, if there's plaque being built up, you also need other things like phospholipids that come from lecithin. So it should be organic soy lecithin or sunflower seed lecithin, good for the brain. Make sure that you do have enough vitamin D, enough vitamin A, enough vitamin E. Vitamin E is sourced from the nuts and seeds that I mentioned, but also from wheat germ. So that would be unroasted wheat germ, excellent for Sagittarius. Also pastured eggs, because there's beta carotene and vitamin E in the yolk of the egg. I'm not talking about the white. The yolk is the healthiest part, even though it's the part with the cholesterol. So you want to make sure you're having good quality eggs. Now you can, depending on if you're susceptible to having high cholesterol or just moderate cholesterol. If you're susceptible to having high cholesterol, then you want to maybe have 6 pastured eggs a week. If you're not susceptible to high cholesterol, then you can get away with about 12 or 14 eggs per week, as long as they're pastured. So generally, I don't recommend eating the same foods every day, but for periods of time, we might eat the same foods every day and then switch over. Avocado also has good fats, great for oil, as well as for delivering phospholipids and medium chain fatty acids. Okay, so this is also very good for Sagittarius. This will help to keep the arteries lubricated. And you also do want vitamin A and beta carotene. Vitamin A and beta carotene are essentially the same, but beta carotene is double bonded, so it's not as toxic as vitamin A. Vitamin A is found in the liver of animals, so it can be found in cod liver oil, it can be found in beef liver and calf liver and chicken livers. That might be good. Corn is the only so-called vegetable that contains quite a bit of vitamin A. But anything that's yellow or gold, as well as all leafy greens, contains beta carotene. So you want to make sure that you're having foods with pigments that are yellow and gold. And so those could be carrots, those could be squashes, those could be pumpkins, those could be orange peppers, red peppers, but also spinach contains a lot of beta carotene. You just can't see it because of the chlorophyll. So very important for Sagittarius. Okay, so Sagittarius, especially women, end up to being overweight later in life. So maybe pear-shaped, bigger hips, bigger thighs. This tends to be a body type for sun sign Sagittarius. Now, not only, it depends on what, this is a general statement only, whereas Sagittarius men tend to be thin, maybe gaining a belly later in life, but generally tend to be thin. Just because you're thin doesn't mean that your heart is healthy, though. So you really need to exercise. That's about, both signs need to exercise for Sagittarius, because this keeps the blood circulating. This keeps the blood thin enough. This keeps all this tissues oxygenated so that you're not going to suffer any stroke or heart attack. And you don't only want to do exercise once a year. This is something that you want to do and build your cardiovascular daily, 3 to 5 times a week kind of thing. And shallow breathing can also be very common among sun sign Sagittariuses. And the problem with shallow breathing is that you're stimulating your stress hormone cortisol. Anytime your shoulders rise from your breathing, you're stimulating your stress hormone cortisol, which is inflammatory, pro-inflammatory, so more likely to cause you distress, lose sleep, and cause inflammation, which is a risk factor for heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune conditions. So you want to be breathing from your abdomen. Breathing from your abdomen allows you to get more oxygen in, also allows you to get more carbon dioxide out. So several times a day, 3 to 4 times a day, you want to be making sure that you're breathing in deeply for 5, breathing out deeply for 5. Do that 10 times in a row. Great way to self-regulate your stress, as well as making sure that you're oxygenating all the tissues. Deep breathing is a form of exercise in itself, even if you can't go out and run a mile, okay? Strengthens your diaphragm, massages your vagus nerve, puts you in a relaxed state. And so staying trim, staying lean, I mean, even if you're, even for women, if you're a pear shape, I hate to use that term, but if you are a pear shape and have a lower bottom, if your abdomen is lean and you don't have very much fat around your central organs, then that's okay. So it's really that we're put at risk for more heart disease if our bellies, if our shoulders, if our backs start getting accumulating visceral fat, because that means that there's fat around our organs. And then we can get a fatty liver, because the liver problems are also common for Sagittarius. So you don't want to drink alcohol. Sagittarius are most susceptible to cirrhosis. You want to make sure that you're eating foods that are good for the liver. So leafy green vegetables, lemons, cayenne pepper, beets, baby greens, shoots, fresh green juices. Other good liver herbs are milk thistle, dandelion. So dandelion greens, you can eat those as well. Bitter foods, apple cider vinegar, making sure that you're doing a liver cleanse regularly, that even on a daily basis, that you're detoxing your liver, that you're going to the bathroom, and that you're breaking up that cholesterol. I mentioned onions and garlics already. Takes the stress off of the liver. Now, if you do have a fatty liver, you can come back with that. You just need a lot of fat soluble nutrients. You need enough vitamin D. You need enough phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylcholine from the foods that I've already mentioned, and the lecithin and the egg yolk, and as long as they're good quality, okay? And then the wheat germ, and if you do need vitamin D, I definitely recommend supplementing with vitamin D. I do not recommend taking foods that have been fortified with vitamin D in order to get your vitamin D. It's just not as absorbable, and those foods would generally not be healthy, such as dairy milk, not a healthy food for most people, for anybody really, just because of the way it's prepared. Now, if it's raw milk, then if you can get raw milk, then that can be healthy and that can have vitamin D in it. But otherwise, cod liver oil would be a natural food supplement. Fermented cod liver oil for vitamin A and for vitamin D for people with a fatty liver, and definitely foods with the orange pigments. Okay. So there can also be injuries because of the tendency, because of the attention to the hip area, injured pelvis, torn ligaments in the pelvis, injured groin, injured hip, injured thigh, broken leg. So want to make sure that your bones are strong, that you're having enough vitamin D for that reason as well. Calcium is not the most important nutrient when it comes to strengthening bones. It's really vitamin D these days, but we also do, of course, need calcium. We need potassium and magnesium, which are alkalizing, which are buffering for the blood, so they keep the blood pH high enough so that the blood doesn't have to steal calcium from the bones in order to buffer it. Every time you do exercise, you want to make sure that you're heating and icing if you need to, that you're stretching, that you're keeping warmed up, that you're staying in shape, that you're always doing weight-bearing exercise, that you're keeping your bones strong. And weight-bearing exercise is not just lifting weights, pushing metal. It's just walking. Anytime you're slapping your feet on the pavement, running, jogging, anything that's aerobic, then you're stimulating your osteoblasts to form to build new bone. Bone is a living organism. It's always growing. Now, if you get more exercise when you're younger and you're well nourished, then certainly this is the best time to build your bones. But if you're later in life, then start weightlifting, start working out, start doing aerobics, start And milk is not the best way to get calcium because it's so high in phosphorus that tends to leach the calcium and so it's not absorbed. So leafy green vegetables, kale, spinach. Now put lemon to avoid the oxalates. Put lemon or apple cider vinegar on it so you're absorbing everything. Make sure that they're cooked for better absorption. Have sesame. Have sprouted tofu. So I like the Wildwood brand. And there's a product that I recommend for inflammation called OPC3. I'll put a link below, but it's blueberries, pomegranates, resveratrol, citrus bioflavonoids. So all the nutrients that you need in order to keep your arteries clean and healthy and reduce blood pressure and reduce inflammation is in that product. And I love that product. Now, if your moon is in Sagittarius, you are more likely to have cysts, tumors, and growths. These are also caused by the planet Jupiter. So even though Jupiter is blessing you with good health, you can get cysts or tumors in your liver. And people with moon in Sagittarius are even more susceptible to cirrhosis. So you really do want to avoid alcohol or too much Tylenol. Also, not only alcohol causes cirrhosis, but too much pain medication or menstrual cramp medication. You want to rely on magnesium for pain relief. Turmeric, that's curcumin is the best form of turmeric because it's already been prepared so that it lasts longer in the body. Turmeric by itself does not last, but it's very anti-inflammatory, very good for the arteries, very good for blood thinning. Now you also do want blood clotting. You want to make sure that you're having leafy green vegetables to balance out your blood clot and your blood thinning. But you still do want your vitamin E and your omega-3 fatty acids from your fish and your seeds that I mentioned, as well as the berries and sources of magnesium. So whole grains, beans, lentils, squash, sweet potatoes, all great sources of the minerals that you need. And Sagittarius, moon Sagittarius might experience various infections while traveling, such as malaria or other rare diseases. So you do want to keep your immune system up. So vitamin D, again, is really important for this. Make sure you're only drinking clean water and also take probiotics with you. That's good bacteria, helps to clean and prevent any foodborne or waterborne infections, prevent traveler's diarrhea. And is really important for malaria. You might want to take the malaria shot, or it's not proven, but homeopathic malaria medication can help as well. But having a strong immune system, and the best herb for preventing malaria is olive leaf extract. And even for preventing colds and flus, I use olive leaf extract for most people. Some people will get a headache from it, but you have to take a lot per day. You have to take 250 milligram capsule, but 16 of those per day if you feel something coming on or before you're going traveling. Now, also taking a supplement with vitamin B6 in it can help keep the mosquitoes away from you. But if you're traveling in a malaria infested or pandemic country, then you do also want to use a mosquito net. So Sagittarius indicate long life, but and want to enjoy it, but definitely take special care of your life throughout your life. Make sure you're walking or running. Make sure that you're stretching and getting adjustments or massages on your hip area and tending to your hips, and make sure that you're eating all those fresh fruits and vegetables that I mentioned, the brassica family vegetables, the cabbage family vegetables, the liver foods, the fruits and vegetables, because you also do want to make sure that you're protecting, and the flax seeds, protecting your hormones. The most important thing for Sagittarius is that they do regular exercise, and then they can live a happy and healthy life, okay? And eat a lot of superfoods. Superfoods are foods that have extra nutrients. They're nutrient dense, and they're not generally calorie dense, but they're the nutrient dense foods, and they're like medicine in your food. And so use food as medicine, Sagittarius, and I wish you all the best and all the health. And if you'd like to take advantage of my reading, then please do sign the link below where I can access your chart with your birth date, your time, and your location, and we can find out what the best nutrition is for you, specifically for your sun and for your moon, as well as for your own specific symptoms. All right, be blessed, Sagittarius. Thanks so much for tuning in.